Hello, this is Stephen Hernandez for Stephen Hernandez's Nonprofit Fundamentals. Today, this video is going to be focusing on relationships. And it's going to be a difficult topic because I'm going to be covering the conversation about interfaith marriages. I recently had a friend reach out to me and posited a very interesting question. And it's questions I've gotten a lot. And this specific situation was one of if this couple should get married. I kind of get this question a lot. But before I get into that, again, my name is Stephen Hernandez. Thank you so much for finding my channel. If you're new here, I discuss relationship matters and nonprofit basics for nonprofits all over. So if you enjoy the content that I provide, please give this video a thumbs up. That definitely helps it to grow. Share this with your friends and family. Subscribe. Click on that bell to get more notifications of new content. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm Stephen Hernandez, 875 right there. Or you can follow my podcast, which is Stephen Hernandez's Relationship and Nonprofit Fundamentals. I'm on Anchor FM and on other podcast platforms. So without further ado, here's the scenario, and I want to lay this out and get into interfaith relationships further. A friend reached out to me and asked the question. A friend of his who was Muslim was interested in marrying a woman who I believe was raised Catholic. Yes, she was raised Catholic, and she herself was fine with the interracial relationship, but she wanted any future children that they should have to be to go through the sacraments of Catholicism, baptism, First Communion, etc., etc. So I was asked my opinion on this. So again, I want to be very, very clear as I'm beginning this conversation. This is not in any way me making a judgment on people's faith. That's not what we're here to do. That's not my place. That's not at all what I'm about to get into. What I am going to get into is, I think, the delusion sometimes that people have, which is, well, we love each other and then that's enough. An understandable thing because we're brought up in that tradition in so many ways. But I get asked the question, can interfaith marriages work? My answer to that is yes, they work all the time. However, they become much, much more difficult to maintain if one or both of the partners, especially if both of the partners, are very strong in their respective faiths. Unfortunately, as world history will teach us, pretty much every faith has some kind of assertion that their faith is the one true faith. And you go through traditions or sacraments or rites, rituals that really affirm, well, our religion is the real one. Everyone else, they're wrong, or maybe they're going to hell. So, if you truly believe that, you would want your children to be raised in your faith tradition. But if the other faith tradition explicitly or implicitly says, well, our faith is the one true religion, and everyone else's is wrong, you're going to have a problem there. So, for example, if you're Jewish but not practicing, and you want to marry someone who was brought up Catholic but not practicing, really, what issue is there really between you? You don't practice the faith. Again, not knocking anyone who does or does not. So that's not really going to be an issue for you. But if you are a strict Orthodox Jew and you don't eat pork, I mean you follow those rites, and you want to marry someone who does eat pork, who does drink, who doesn't keep the Sabbath, every time that comes up, that's going to be an issue. If you are very strong in your Catholic faith and you want to send your children to catechism or school for Catholic children, have them go through all the sacraments, tithe in your church, etc., etc., and your partner doesn't want that or thinks that that's wrong, you're going to have a problem. If your parents are very steeped in whatever religion that you came from, so again, even if you're not, let's say you're a lapsed Catholic, but your parents really observe, you know, the religious aspects of Easter or Christmas, how are they going to handle your children, should you have them, who are not brought up that way? Let's say they really make a big deal about Christmas, not from like the consumerist Hallmark holiday, but more about like the actual what they believe is the birth of Christ, the Son of God. If that's a big article of their faith, and you don't want that to be the faith of your children, that's going to be a point of conflict. If your mother sings in the choir, sings in the church, choir, and you want to see your mom sing, but you can't because your kids, you have to take the kids to the mass or to the church service where there's articles of faith being professed. That's going to be a problem. You're understanding what I'm saying? That as long as you yourselves are not like particularly strong on the faith traditions, well, I shouldn't say strong. Like that's not a big deal for you. You should be fine. But if at least one person, or your parents or your in-laws really feel very strongly about that, that's going to be an issue. And I would recommend against any relationship that would start off that way. If you feel very strongly that you are a Muslim and that is your faith, and your partner is Catholic, and they feel pretty strongly about that, and they want to raise their children that way, you're going to have conflict down the road. And it could be very serious. So that's where I would not recommend those kinds of relationships. Just like that, you're starting out by adding more risk factors when you don't need to. That doesn't mean that you don't love that person, that you guys couldn't be good partners in every other way. But that issue of faith is going to be an ongoing sense of conflict and would add to instability in the relationship. So that may not be easy for some folks to hear. That's been my experience as someone who has been doing marriage and relationship work for more than a decade now. I would very much love to hear your thoughts on this. Comment below. Are you in an interfaith relationship? How have you balanced that? Has that been your experience as well? What I've laid out in terms of what I've seen with my various clients? What are some recommendations that you have for people who are interested, who are in a relationship or interested in a person who's maybe from a different faith tradition than their own? Would love to hear your thoughts. I know this is probably a bit of a controversial topic, but it's one I hear all the time, and I definitely want to talk about here. So please comment below. We'd love to know what you all think about this. Thank you, as always, for listening. Love to read your comments. I hope I find them very helpful. Let me know what you think. Again, I'm Stephen Hernandez for Stephen Hernandez's Nonprofit Fundamentals. Please give this video a thumbs up if you found it enjoyable. Subscribe to the channel. Check out all my other YouTube videos here. Follow me on Instagram at StephenHernandez875. Thank you again for listening. I truly enjoy it, and I appreciate everything that you brought to me and to my family. Take care now.